our journey of self-discovery and well-being. Today, we're delving into a timeless philosophy that's all about finding that sweet spot of tranquility within ourselves. Stoicism. It's not just some ancient concept. It's a practical guide to achieving inner peace in our hectic lives. Ever wondered how some people manage to stay calm amidst chaos? Well, Stoicism has some wisdom to share. In this video, we're going to explore 11 things Stoics eliminate for inner peace. Life detox, yeah, it's like a cleanse for your soul, but without the kale smoothies and yoga poses. Now, why should you care about Stoicism? Think of it as a life manual that's been tested and approved by ancient sages. The Stoics weren't just sitting around in robes, contemplating life. They were tackling the same struggles we face today: stress, uncertainty, and the never-ending quest for peace of mind. So, consider this your shortcut to serenity. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty of the 11 things Stoics toss out for a calmer existence, let me throw you a little hook. Picture this: a life where external chaos doesn't ruffle your feathers, failures become stepping stones, and your happiness isn't held hostage by the opinions of others. Sounds intriguing, right? Well, that's what Stoicism is all about. It's not a magic pill, but it's a mindset shift that can transform how you navigate the roller coaster of life. Now that we've dipped our toes into the Stoic pool, let's take a moment to grasp the essence of this ancient philosophy. One standout Stoicism philosopher, Marcus Aurelius, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Sounds like something you'd want to jot down on a sticky note, doesn't it? This quote serves as a portal into the key principles of Stoicism. And lucky for us, it's not rocket science. First up, there's this idea of acceptance. The kind of acceptance that doesn't mean surrender, but a recognition that we can't control everything that happens around us. It's like having a superpower, the ability to accept what we cannot change and focus our energy on what we can. Now, picture this: a mental filter that sifts through the chaos, letting in only what truly matters. That's the Stoic mindset. They encourage us to direct our attention to things within our control: our actions, thoughts, and reactions. Imagine if your stress and worries had a no entry sign unless they were directly linked to your actions. That's the magic of focusing on what's within your grasp. So grab a mental seatbelt, because we're about to explore the essence of Stoicism and unveil the 11 keys to unlocking your inner peace. Ready? Let's roll. Let's kick off our journey through the 11 things Stoics bid farewell to, starting with a heavy hitter: excessive materialism. Now, we live in a world that sometimes measures success by the size of our houses or the brand of our shoes. But Stoics, they flip the script. For them, it's not about stacking up possessions. It's about stacking up virtues. Picture this: instead of chasing after the latest gadgets or the fanciest car, Stoics prioritize qualities like wisdom, courage, and justice. It's like they have a different kind of shopping list, one that leads to a richer, more meaningful life. And they've got some golden nuggets of wisdom to share about wealth. Marcus Aurelius, one of those wise Stoic folks, once said very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Imagine that: a happy life not dependent on how much stuff you have, but on your mindset. Now let's unpack this. Stoics aren't saying throw out all your belongings and live in a cave. Nah, it's about not letting possessions define your worth. Because let's face it, that shiny new phone will eventually become outdated, but the virtues you cultivate, they're timeless. So here's your challenge. When you feel the itch to splurge on the next big thing, take a Stoic pause. Ask yourself, does this align with my values? Does it contribute to my virtue stack? Stoics teach us that true wealth is found not in what we own, but in who we become. Stick around as we unravel more Stoic gems on this journey to inner peace. Another game changer on our Stoic journey, the fear of failure. Now, in a world that often sees failure as a red mark, Stoicism flips the script and turns it into a valuable lesson. Stoics don't see failure as a dead end. They see it as a detour on the road to wisdom. Picture this. Rather than fearing the stumble, Stoics invite it for coffee and learn from it. It's like turning your mistakes into stepping stones. Seneca, a heavyweight in the Stoic world, puts it brilliantly. He who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive. Think about it. How many opportunities have we missed because we were too afraid to fail? Stoics challenge us to shift that mindset. Instead of dreading failure, embrace it, learn from it, grow stronger because of it. And let's talk about some real-life Stoic MVPs who faced the storm with resilience. Take Epictetus, for example. Born a slave, faced some heavy setbacks, and yet he became one of the most influential Stoic philosophers. His life story is a testament to the Stoic principle that it's not about the hand you're dealt, but how you play the cards. Or consider Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. He faced wars, political turmoil, and a whole bunch of challenges. Yet, his Meditations, a personal journal reflecting on Stoic principles, stands as a guide for millions today. So here's your takeaway. Fear of failure. Stoics say no thanks. Embrace it, learn from it, and let it shape you into a wiser, more resilient you. Now, let's tackle a common hurdle on our quest for inner peace. The desire for external validation. In a world hooked on likes, shares, and approval, Stoicism steps in with a refreshing perspective. For Stoics, the real game isn't played on the external scoreboard. It's an internal match, and the victory comes from finding self-worth within. Imagine this. Instead of relying on the applause of others, Stoics guide us to cultivate an inner applause, a self-respect that doesn't waver with external opinions. The Stoic trailblazer, Epictetus, drops some wisdom here. He who laughs at himself never runs out of things to laugh at. It's like having a built-in validation system, one that doesn't depend on the fickle winds of external approval. So, how do we break free from the desire for external validation? Stoics offer practical tips. First, be your own best friend. Celebrate your victories, no matter how small. Acknowledge your efforts and applaud your progress. It's like having a constant cheerleader in your corner, yourself. Next, shift the spotlight from what others think to what you think. Set your own standards and measure your success against them. It's not about being indifferent to others, but about making your internal compass the true north. And here's a golden nugget. Focus on the process, not just the outcome. Stoics teach us that true fulfillment comes from the journey, not just the destination. So instead of waiting for external validation, validate yourself along the way. In a world that often tells us our worth is tied to external praise, Stoics remind us that the real validation comes from within. Stick around as we uncover more gems on our Stoic journey to inner peace. All right, let's untangle another knot on our path to inner peace. Unhealthy attachments. In a world that often encourages us to cling tightly to everything, Stoicism introduces the liberating concept of detachment. Now, don't get it twisted. It's not about becoming an emotionless robot. It's about realizing that some things are beyond our control. Stoics invite us to embrace the Serenity prayer vibe. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. It's like letting go of the steering wheel for the things we can't steer. Imagine this. Instead of being emotionally tethered to outcomes, Stoics encourage us to dance with life, not wrestle it into submission. Seneca, one of the Stoic heavyweights, drops a truth bomb. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Now, let's talk about relationships. Stoics suggest fostering healthy connections without letting them turn into chains. It's not about being indifferent. It's about recognizing that people, like everything else, have their own journey. So when things don't go as planned, instead of clinging desperately, Stoicism nudges us to gracefully let go. Healthy relationships, according to Stoics, involve mutual support without dependency. It's like having a dance partner who complements your steps but doesn't carry your weight. It's about appreciating the melody of connection without losing yourself in the noise. So, here's your key takeaway. Unhealthy attachments. Stoics say, let's detach a bit. It's not about being cold. It's about finding freedom in letting go of. It's about finding freedom in letting go of what we can't control. All right, let's tackle another common struggle on our road to serenity: overthinking and worry. If your mind is a bit like a hamster wheel on steroids, Stoicism has some tricks up its sleeve to calm the mental storm. Stoics acknowledge that our minds can sometimes throw us into an Olympic-level overthinking marathon. So what's their approach? They introduce us to the art of mindfulness, being present in the moment. Picture this. Instead of getting tangled in the spiderweb of what-ifs, Stoics encourage us to focus on what's happening right now. Epictetus, one of the Stoic champs, said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." It's like having a mental remote control, choosing which channel to tune into instead of letting worries dictate the program. Now, for a practical exercise to tackle overthinking, try this: the Stoic pause. When your mind starts doing somersaults, hit the pause button. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this within my control? If yes, what action can I take? If no, can I let it go? It's a bit like hitting the reset button for your mind. Worries often stem from projecting ourselves into an uncertain future. Stoics teach us to ground ourselves in the present. Another exercise: the present moment check. Pause, look around. Notice your surroundings and focus on your breath. Bring yourself back to the now. So, your key takeaway here: overthinking and worry, Stoics say, let's bring it back to the present. Mindfulness and practical exercises can be your allies in navigating the mental maze. All right, let's talk about a duo that often crashes the inner peace party: complaining and blaming. In a world where pointing fingers is almost a national sport, Stoicism offers a different playbook. One that focuses on taking responsibility for our reactions. For Stoics, it's like being the captain of your own ship. They emphasize the power we have over our responses, even when circumstances throw a curveball. Epictetus, one of the Stoic philosophers, puts it straightforwardly: we cannot control external things, but we can control our reactions to them. It's like saying, hey, life might throw lemons, but I choose how to make lemonade. Now, let's connect the dots between complaining, blaming, and inner peace. Stoics argue that these habits are like leaky faucets in our mental space. Every complaint and blame droplet adds up, and soon, we're swimming in negativity. Seneca, another wise Stoic, states, he suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary. Eliminating the habit of complaining and blaming contributes to inner peace because it's about redirecting that energy. Instead of playing the blame game, Stoics say, okay, this happened. What can I learn from it? What can I do about it? It's a mental switch from being a victim of circumstances to being the architect of our responses. So, here's your challenge. Catch yourself in the act of complaining or blaming. When you do, take a Stoic pause. Ask yourself, can I change this situation? If yes, what action can I take? If no, how can I change my perspective? It's a small shift that can create a seismic change in your inner landscape. Complaining and blaming, Stoics say, let's kick these joy stealers out of the mental party. Now, let's confront a universal challenge: resistance to change. We've all been there. Comfort zones feeling more like cozy fortresses. Stoicism steps in, not to dismantle the fort, but to open the gate, acknowledging that change is as certain as the sunrise. Stoics view change not as a threat, but as a natural part of the human journey. It's like accepting the seasons. They come and go, bringing different experiences. Marcus Aurelius, a heavyweight Stoic, once said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." In other words, the key to a happy life isn't avoiding change, but adapting your mindset to navigate it. So, how can a Stoic mindset help you dance with change rather than resist it? Well, it starts with the acceptance that some things are beyond our control. Picture this: you can't stop the waves, but you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Stoics encourage us to focus our energy not on trying to control the uncontrollable, but on shaping our responses to it. Here's a practical tip: the Stoic reflection. When facing change, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, what aspects can I control and what is beyond my control? By delineating these factors, you gain clarity on where to direct your efforts. Stoics also teach us to find opportunity in change. Instead of viewing it as a disruption, see it as a chance for growth. It's like planting seeds in the soil of uncertainty, knowing that they have the potential to bloom into new possibilities. So, your key takeaway: resistance to change. Stoics say, let's not fight the tide. Let's learn to navigate it. Let's talk about a common pitfall we've all stumbled into: impulsive reactions. You know, those moments when emotions take the wheel, and before you know it, you've said or done something you might regret. Stoicism brings us a remedy, a little something called the pause and reflect approach. Stoics believe in the power of the pause button. Instead of riding the emotional roller coaster without brakes, they advocate for taking a moment to reflect before reacting. It's like creating a space between stimulus and response, allowing room for thoughtful consideration. Seneca, one of the Stoic philosophers, reminds us, he suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary. So, how can we cultivate this pause and reflect mentality in our everyday lives? Well, let's dive into some practical strategies for mindful responses. The first trick is to become aware of your triggers. What sets off those emotional fireworks? By identifying these triggers, you're better equipped to hit the pause button when they pop up. Next, practice the art of deep breathing. It's not just for yoga enthusiasts. It's a quick and effective way to bring your focus back to the present moment. Picture it as a reset for your mind, allowing you to respond more intentionally. Another strategy is to embrace the power of the 10-second rule. When faced with a situation that sparks an immediate reaction, give yourself a brief 10 seconds before responding. It's amazing what a short pause can do to shift your perspective and choose a more measured response. So, your key takeaway: impulsive reactions. Stoics say, let's hit the pause button and reflect before we react. Stick around as we continue our journey through the Stoic playbook for inner peace. Let's address a modern woe that often sneaks into our lives: excessive busyness. In a world that applauds multitasking and glorifies busy schedules, Stoicism introduces a refreshing perspective, one that values intentional, purposeful action over the chaos of constant business. Stoics believe in quality over quantity, urging us to consider the purpose behind our actions. Instead of being a part of the rat race, they encourage us to be intentional with our time and energy. It's like the difference between spinning in circles and moving forward with a clear direction. So, how can we adopt this intentional mindset in our daily lives? Stoics offer some practical tips on prioritizing and simplifying tasks. First up, embrace the art of prioritization. Identify tasks that align with your goals and values. Not everything is equally important, and Stoics teach us to focus on what truly matters. Next, practice the Stoic principle of amor fati, love of fate. It's about accepting the things you can't change and finding purpose in every task, no matter how small. When you approach each action with intention, it becomes a meaningful part of your journey. Simplifying daily tasks is another key. Stoics advocate for clarity and simplicity in actions. It's like decluttering your to-do list, keeping only the essentials. Seneca, a wise Stoic, emphasized, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Your takeaway: excessive busyness. Stoics say, let's trade the hustle for purposeful strides. Let's navigate through a common emotional maze we all find ourselves in, regretting the past. We've all been there, replaying moments in our minds, wishing we could hit rewind. Stoicism offers us a compass to navigate these regretful waters and chart a course toward inner peace. Stoics believe in the art of letting go. They don't deny the existence of mistakes or past missteps, but they teach us not to be prisoners of our history. Seneca, a heavyweight Stoic, puts it plainly: true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. So, how do we unshackle ourselves from the chains of regret? Stoicism introduces the powerful technique of reflection without dwelling. It's like looking at the rearview mirror to learn from the journey, but keeping your eyes on the road ahead. The past is a teacher, not a jailer. Living in the present is a key Stoic principle. It's about being fully engaged in the here and now. When we anchor ourselves in the present, we break free from the grip of past regrets. It's like stepping out of the shadows of yesterday into the sunlight of today. Now, focusing on future actions is another Stoic gem. Instead of dwelling on what cannot be changed, Stoics encourage us to channel our energy into shaping our future. Picture this: every action you take now is like planting seeds for a future you want to cultivate. So, your key takeaway: regretting the past. Stoics say, let's learn from it, but not live in it. Let's dive into a pool of uncertainty that often makes us feel uneasy, anxiety about the future. In a world where the unknown can be a source of stress, Stoicism offers us a life jacket, a set of approaches to navigate the unpredictable waters ahead. Stoics acknowledge the natural human tendency to worry about what's to come. However, they propose a mindset shift. Instead of letting anxiety about the future paralyze us, Stoicism encourages us to focus on what's within our control. It's like saying, I might not control the waves, but I can learn to ride them. One Stoic technique for managing future anxiety is a mental rehearsal. It involves visualizing potential challenges and preparing ourselves mentally to face them. By doing this, Stoics believe we become more resilient, equipped to handle whatever the future throws our way. Living in the present moment is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It's not about ignoring the future, but about staying grounded in the now. Seneca's words, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary," remind us that anxiety often stems from projecting ourselves into a future that may never unfold as we fear. Practical tools for staying present include mindfulness exercises. One simple practice is mindful breathing. Take a few moments to focus on your breath, allowing it to anchor you to the present. It's a quick and effective way to ease the grip of future uncertainties. Your key takeaway: anxiety about the future. Stoics say, let's focus on what we can control and stay anchored in the present. Embracing Stoicism in daily life. All right, we've journeyed through the Stoic landscape, uncovering wisdom to enhance our well-being. Now, let's tie it all together and see how we can infuse Stoicism into our daily lives for a life detox that sparks inner peace and fulfillment. So, here's the quick recap. Stoics eliminate excessive materialism by prioritizing virtues over possessions. They face the fear of failure by turning setbacks into stepping stones. The desire for external validation is replaced with a self-worth found internally. Unhealthy attachments are shed, allowing for healthy relationships without dependency. Overthinking and worry are managed through mindfulness techniques and the power of the present moment. Complaining and blaming are replaced with a stoic pause and reflection. Resistance to change transforms into a dance with life, embracing the inevitability of change. Impulsive reactions are curbed with a mindful pause. Excessive busyness is replaced by intentional, purposeful action. Regretting the past is navigated by learning from it and focusing on the present and future. Anxiety about the future is met with stoic approaches, focusing on the controllable and staying present. Now, the big question. How do we integrate Stoicism into our daily lives? Let's break it down. Actionable steps for your life detox. Morning reflection. Start your day with a moment of reflection. What virtues do you want to embody today? Set intentional goals for your actions. Mindful breathing. Corporate mindful breathing throughout the day. It's your instant reset button, helping you stay present and calm in the face of challenges. Stoic pause. When faced with a decision or challenge, take a stoic pause. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If yes, what action can I take? If no, how can I change my perspective? Prioritization. Review your to-do list. Identify tasks aligned with your values and goals. Focus on what truly matters to avoid the trap of excessive busyness. Visualizing resilience. Practice the Stoic technique of mental rehearsal. Visualize potential challenges and mentally prepare yourself to navigate them with resilience. Present moment check. Periodically, throughout the day, pause and bring yourself back to the present moment. Notice your surroundings, take a breath, and appreciate the now. As we reach the end of our exploration into the heart of Stoicism, let's take a moment to reflect on the significance of eliminating certain elements for inner peace. We've peeled back the layers of excessive materialism, fear of failure, and the desire for external validation. We've navigated the seas of unhealthy attachments, overthinking and regretting the past. Through the lens of Stoicism, we've learned to face change, curb impulsive reactions, and embrace intentional living over excessive busyness. Our journey touched on anxiety about the future, urging us to focus on the present moment. Why eliminate these elements? Because, my friend, inner peace is often found not in the accumulation of things or the avoidance of challenges, but in the intentional choices we make in response to life's ebb and flow. It's about crafting a mindset that allows us to dance with the rhythm of existence, finding tranquility amidst the chaos. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to each of you for embarking on this journey with me. Your time and engagement are valued, and I hope these Stoic insights bring you moments of reflection and inspiration on your path to a more serene and fulfilling life. Now, here's a call to action. I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, experiences, or any additional topics you'd like us to explore in future videos. Stoicism is a vast treasure trove of wisdom, and there's always more to uncover. Your input shapes the direction of our journey, so feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue this conversation and support each other in our quest for inner peace. Thank you for being part of this exploration. Until next time, may your days be filled with wisdom, resilience, and moments of serene joy. Take care, and let's keep rolling on this journey together.